Good morning, people. So, got a few jobs to do in the garden today, and one of those jobs is to rescue this coffee plant. So I purchased this, I think it was about 3 or 4 months ago. This is what it is there, look, Coffee Arabica. There you go, you can see the tag there. And it's starting to show signs of nutrient deficiency. So the leaves are starting to turn a pale green, and we've got this sort of brownness appearing on the edges of the leaves. Like this one here, looks got quite a bit of browning occurring, a bit of browning in the middle here. So what I'm going to do is to repot it. So I'll let you have a look at it. So you can see there, look, when I first bought this, I've got the video on the channel from about 3 or 4 months ago. It was kind of like loosely rooted, but now, you know, it really has started to root. I may even be able to sort of prize some of these away in order to get individual coffee plants for propagation, but I'm not going to do that. I'm simply going to repot it into a pot. This one I'm going to use here. Now, obviously the bigger pot the better, but because I'm probably going to be taking this inside in the winter period, late autumn, you know, all the way through to late spring next year where there's risk of frost, it's going to have to come inside whilst I get the sort of infrastructure in place for sort of tropical plant growing, if you will, here in the UK. So it's going to go in here. Now, I'm just going to put it straight into that. Now what this is a basic multi-purpose compost, okay, which is not ideal. It's just what I've got left from the potting up and sort of planting period from earlier in the year. So I'm just going to put that in there like that. Okay, so there you go. Let's put it up into this pot here. Now this should hopefully buy it some time. I remember actually it's not just multi-purpose compost in here, it's got some more nutrient dense compost in there as well, which should help. I'm probably going to be giving this some feed as well. Indicates to me nitrogen deficiency, the paleness of the leaves and the sort of brownness, like that one particularly, look around there. So I'm going to be doing a bit of research today and probably give it some feed of some sort into the growing medium there. But I imagine this will buy it a bit more time. I mean, you can see all this new growth, look, is still like a sort of darker green. It should really all be about this colour, not like the strawberry leaf, forget that. Where my thumb is, look, like that. That's what it should be, like something like that, okay? But instead, sort of like we've turned into this sort of thing. But that's rectifiable, so some feed is going to be going in. I can keep it out here probably until the frosts come, and there should be no risk of frost now, hopefully, all being well, up until maybe, if we're lucky, November, certainly late October. So there we go, not bad in those regards. Now the tea plant, on the other hand, I've got it in a much bigger tub here. You can see this, because this can actually stay outside in the polytunnel year round. Probably even put it outside in the garden, but you can see it's put up a fair degree of growth actually. There, look where my finger is, thumb rather, right to the end of the tip there. So that's grown well. It was in the corner down there, but I've moved it out a little bit. So this is tea. Now tea is the same member as the camellia family, which is very interesting, but don't start drinking tea from camellia leaves, will you? Because I don't think that's safe to do that. But please correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, don't go doing things like that. So tea there and coffee here, and this is part of the sort of a project for growing things in the UK that one maybe would not class as sort of typical. But intriguingly enough, there are tea plantations now here in the UK. I think they've got some in Scotland and in the south west, I believe, sort of like Cornwall area. Now these are typically wetter areas, and tea plants, they like wet climates, which is interesting because, you know, many people still think that tea is, you know, a tropical plant and unsuitable to grow in the UK, whereas apparently it can actually thrive in here. So apparently tea plants require protection when they're younger, but when they are older they can go outside unprotected, which is interesting. So I'm going to be keeping it in the polytunnel for the next certainly for the next few years. I may even keep it, you know, in here indefinitely, who knows. But weeds there, I've been saving the seeds there from the peach tree, but stones rather. But it's going to be interesting to see just how this does indeed turn out. I mean, if I can start growing, producing my own tea here in the UK, I'll be very, very happy from that. And even, the same sort of degree of achievement if I can get coffee. Of course, coffee requires a little bit more thought because the plants are not frost hardy, so they've got to be protected or taken inside, during the winter cooler periods. They won't tolerate frost, so we shall see. But quite excited about how this tea and coffee project in the UK is turning out. So there we go. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday, peeps, and we will continue this discussion about tea and coffee in the UK at a later date. Speak soon.